You switched to Signal because it's encrypted. You turned on the disappearing messages. You thought you were safe. But what if I told you the FBI recovered deleted Signal messages from someone's phone? Not by breaking the encryption, but through a backdoor in your iPhone's notification system that you didn't even know existed. And what if I told you ICE just admitted it has spyware that can read your messages without you ever clicking anything? Yeah, this is not a drill. This is not a hypothetical, y'all. This happened in a federal courtroom in Texas. April 1st, 2026. ICE Acting Director Todd Lyons sent a letter to Congress. And this was the first time ICE has ever officially acknowledged using Graphite spyware. Now, Graphite is made by Paragon Solutions, which is an Israeli company. ICE originally signed a $2 million contract under the Biden administration, paused it, and then this current presidential administration revived it last fall.
But it hides what's done when the day is done. Sheriff rides high on a promise he sold, but his truth's been bought and his soul's been told. He don't walk alone down the courthouse hall, got shadows that move when he makes a call. A whisper here, a favor there, and suddenly justice ain't nowhere. You can hear it humming underneath the street where power and silence meet. Oh, the machine don't bleed, don't cry, don't care. It feeds on fear and the deals they share, pulling every string in the dead of night, turning wrong to right, turning black to white. If you stand in the way, you'll disappear clean. Ain't no fighting back when you face their machine. Got henchmen lying like dominoes in a row. They don't ask why, they just go where he goes. A nod from the top and a life gets crushed. Another voice buried, another file hushed. They wear the loyalty like a second skin, trading their conscience just to fit in. Break a man down, call it law and order, build their empire at the county border. Every favor owed is a chain that binds, every truth buried buys more time. Oh, the machine don't bleed, don't cry, don't care. It feeds on fear and the deals they share, pulling every string in the dead of night, turning wrong to right, turning black to white. If you stand in the way, you'll disappear clean. Ain't no fighting back when you face their machine. The district attorney signs with a steady hand, but the ink's been stained by a deeper plan. Senators smile from the palace stage while they trade your life for another page. County county seats filled with familiar names, all tied together in a quiet game. Handshakes tighter than a noose can be, wrapped in power and immunity. And the victims cry, but no one hears. The truth gets lost in a flood of years, dragged through the mud till they break a bend, till the story twists and the lies all win. They'll take your name, they'll take your breath, dress it up nice and call it justice served to death. It's not one man, it's a web they weave, 1,000 hands that deceive, and every thread leads back again to the same old circle of friends. Oh, the machine don't bleed, don't cry, don't care. It feeds on fear and the deals they share, pulling every string in the dead of night, turning wrong to right, turning black to white. And if you speak too loud, if you're seen too clean, they'll grind you down in that cold machine. So the bad still shines in the morning light, and the town sleeps easy every night. But beneath it all, where the truth's unseen, there's a whole damn world run by that machine.
You better let go of my...
I'll fucking kill this motherfucker.
Back! Get off my dog!
Get the fuck off me! Get the
Hey,
fuck
that's fucking enough. That's enough.
I'm gonna kill that fucking dog, Harry. And I'm gonna kill you.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services provided are greater than the legal services of other lawyers. I'm Harry Still. You found the Heart of Dixie podcast. I'm a retired gentleman down in Daphne, Alabama. I'm joined today by Brandon Mosley, reporter and content manager at the Alabama Gazette. How are you today, Brandon?
I'm doing fine, Harry. How are you?
Well, I'm hanging in there hoping Bill Appling is going to join us because he found a grenade day before yesterday in an attic in Mobile. And we're also joined by Rachel Farley, whose cats were eaten by dogs. And she's also a teacher and a much more interesting person. How are you today, Rachel?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
I'm good. So just while I get this set up, why don't you just tell us kind of your story, what happened, and do you mind?
Not at all.
Tell us where you are and all that too, please.
Well, I live in Gadsden, Alabama, in the Nakalula Falls community. On the wee hours of March 7th, around 4 a.m., me and my husband heard a disruption in our carport, and our security system alerted us to this, and we were out there quite quickly in under 4 minutes, and there had been 5 dogs that had came into our carport. In the very back of our carport, in the back corner where you have to go and make a turn to get to, we had a mama cat that had come up a couple of months before and was starved, and we had taken care of her, got her back to health, created her a insulated tote for her to care for her 5 2.5-week-old kittens. And they drug that container to the front of the carport. She was inside the container, not outside. One of them reached inside, drug her out, and all 5 mauled her to death, drug her down my driveway, leaving a blood trail, and left her on the side of the driveway. And this all happened in under 4 minutes, because that's how quickly it took us to get out there, and just left her there. And this is the second time this set of dogs, I have caught them on my security camera, come into my yard and mauling one of my cats to death.
So we're going to watch this story that put this on my radar. And Brandon, if you can pay close attention, these look like somebody's dogs that just ran away and they got in a pack. I I mean, this doesn't look like a bunch of mongrels or whatever to me. But let's take a look and we'll let everybody decide for themselves.
This is the cat Rachel Farley says showed up at her house earlier this year. In a matter of weeks, she gave birth to 5 kittens. Farley made them a warm, dry house out of a container. They were thriving on her carport until a few weeks ago when a pack of 5 roaming dogs pulled her out of the container and mauled her to death. It was all caught on her security camera.
She was not out. They drug that and they stuck their head in there and pulled her out, and all 5 of them just mauled her. I couldn't even finish watching the video once I heard her screaming. I could.
Well, we don't need to watch all that. You told us what was going on there. So, yeah, that's real upsetting. Yes, ma'am. So tell me about the, I think you told me you're in the city.
Yes, I am in the city limits. I am a block from Mitchell Elementary School. I can see the school from my front yard.
So what did the city do about all this?
Until I was speaking with the media, nothing. I had heard nothing back from anyone. I've still, since this happened at the beginning of March, I still haven't heard from my city representative.
Who's your what district are you in? Do you know who your city councilman is?
My city councilman is Chris Robinson. I've heard from one of the downtown city councilmen. He's the owner of the owner of the Back 40 has contacted me and has been in touch. I've emailed the mayor. I emailed all members of the city council. I left messages on for animal control. I left messages for the person over animal control. I contacted the police. And the police wouldn't do anything until I knew who the owners of the dogs were. So I didn't find that out for a few days. And once I did that, then they made a report. And once the media was aware of this, I've had good responses. 3 dogs were caught. It turns out there wasn't 5, there was actually 6. There was a 6th one that at some point got mixed in, and it looks so much like one of the others, we didn't recognize there being another one, because there's still 3 coming to my carport trying to get at my other cat that I have. And
so have the dogs been dealt with, or did the owners get a citation? Does Gadsden have a leash law?
We do have a leash law, and 3 of the dogs were captured. I do not know if I know there was an order for euthanization. I do not know if that has taken place, because the owner, by legal definition, whether she wants to be consider their owner or not, she's went back. I can go back to 2023 of her claiming ownership of these dogs. And she won't answer the door at her home. I've signed a warrant for her arrest on this to file charges against her. They have not been able to serve the warrant on her because she will not answer the door. She has a long list of charges in her past. If you check on the Etowah County Sheriff's mugshots, she's got a list of them, and so she knows how to avoid.
So this is just somebody not taking care of their animals and letting them roam free.
She claims that she's had people build the fence up and put the dogs back in there. There is no fence to hold them. There is an old wooden something or another that doesn't even connect all the way around the property. There is no fence that goes all the way around this property. And this person is known by animal control and by Gadsden City Police with this issue.
Well, this is a real missed opportunity, because about a year ago, Paul Rip's next door neighbor has about 7 half-breed, I don't know what they are, some kind of black lab mix. And they all got out and they got after his puppy bull mastiff. And he said he fought those damn dogs until he thought he was going to collapse and die of a heart attack. Yes. I mean, they just kept coming and kept coming. And he said, man, He said I was hitting them as hard as I could, and they just kept coming. There was too many of them. So anyway, he saved his dog from the pack, and I think Fairhope's kind of scared of Rip. He's won a couple of lawsuits against him. So they came out and laid down the law, and all the neighbors were just kind of like, "Hey, man, if you don't take care of your dog, we'll take care of them." And I know you're in the city. You can't, I don't guess, take care of this yourself.
I've been told I can if they come on my property because they are a danger to both animal and human life. Know
but shooting in a residential neighborhood, Brandon and I are both gun guys. Know your target and know what's behind your target.
I don't want to have to do that. There's too many possibilities that of uncertainties that things that could occur.
Sure.
On a more extreme version of this, I had a neighbor a few years ago that decided to breed Rottweilers, and 34 of them killed his next door neighbor at the mailbox.
Oh, goodness.
So,
I got a friend of mine that got arrested in Louisiana. Rottweilers chased her and her 2 children into their barn. And she came down out of the hayloft and ran. She got mauled on the way back to the house, but she got a shotgun and dispatched the dogs. And then whoever the owner was, his uncle was a justice of the peace and came and arrested her. And son, you should have seen the people at the county jail. Ashley Bourgeois, she's forever famous for that mess.
These dogs have been found down at Mitchell Elementary School. They actually charged at a teacher, and just a few weeks ago, prevented children from being able to go out on the playground because they were out there. This is a dangerous situation waiting to happen.
Well, we know Craig Ford.
I'm kind of betting that pack probably is mostly male, and they probably were never cut.
I would guarantee that.
Well, Bill's not here, but I thought we'd tell his story anyway. Did anybody see the story yesterday on the news?
I have not seen this one.
All right. Well, let's see here.
Mobile, a Florida street comes across something historic and potentially dangerous.
WKRG News 5. Maya Falgu talks with this man who discovered a rifle grenade dating back to the Second World War.
Bill Appling is very familiar with the antique scene in Mobile. He frequently gets calls to go through old rentals and clean them out. But on Wednesday morning, while in an attic in Midtown, he came across his most concerning find yet.
So in a box of Christmas ornaments was just a little piece of metal sticking out, which I grabbed and pulled out and instantly recognized as a grenade.
Appling then gently put the weapon down and called the Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit with the Mobile Police Department.
So he came up here and looked at it and removed it. He's like, yes, it's real, and removed it, and they took it outside and they told me about it, that it was a practice round.
The EOD unit says the training grenade was from World War II.
Had a 43 on it. We suspect that was the date.
This is a M7 grenade launcher. It attaches to a standard issue M1 Grand rifle.
So it's able to propel itself several hundred feet, my understanding, and it's meant to damage a tank.
But the practice grenade is different.
Practice round is just meant to explode and make some smoke.
Appling says it's not uncommon to find historic weapons when going through old homes.
Korean War, Vietnam War, World War II, people bring back stuff. People keep stuff from the Civil War that could even be dangerous.
And I guess it's true that you never really know what you'll come across when going through someone else's stuff. Brutal in there. Reporting in Midtown Mobile, I'm Maya Falgu.
So, Bill, did you join us?
I did. I just joined you. What perfect timing I guess I had. Sorry.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we've already heard the tragic story about the cats that were killed in Gadsden. And so now we want to, so full disclosure, Bill has an antiques business, and he helped me clean out my grandmother's house in Daphne this past summer.
Yeah, I have some ornery clients. Ornery.
I bet you do. Not worse than me. And of course, we know Bill because he ran for city council place 4.
Place 4, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, as far as weird stuff you found in the attic, does this kind of take the cake? And what possessed you to? Why didn't you call me and let's see if that damn thing would fire?
Well, it probably will. And that, I think you answered your own question.
Because we'd have hurt ourselves bad, for sure. So tell us about. So did they? I want to know the procedure. So were you anywhere around? Did they use a robot? Did a guy go in with the bomb suit? Tell us all about it.
Absolutely nothing exciting. Nothing exciting. So I, of course, left it in the attic, put it down, and got out of the house, went out front and waited on the EOD guys because I happened to know them. One of them was a classmate of mine.
Oh, yeah. We forgot to say you were a former Mobile police detective.
Yes, that's correct. And that's why I could say speed dial because, well, Aaron and I have known each other for 30 years. So anyway, they came over there and one of them went upstairs and retrieved it and gently brought it back out of the house and laid it down. And they inspected it and proclaimed it the real thing as far as a practice round. So you could fire that thing, I would presume, several hundred feet, if not yards. And wherever it landed, it would mildly explode enough to let you know where it landed.
But it's got live propellant that'll shoot several hundred yards.
You don't want that thing going off in your face, but
no, or you want to be holding it like a bottle rocket.
So, do you think somebody was hanging that damn thing on their Christmas tree or putting it on the top of it?
I don't think it's a tree topper. No, it could have been. I guess it could have been.
There's some weird ass people in Mobile, man. I wouldn't put anything past.
Hopefully, they used an aluminum tree and not a live tree. So. Or a dead live tree, I guess is really what they are.
So I found something interesting that I thought would bring our two guests together. So we're looking at a post by the Typical Mobilian. It says, Mobile is struggling. District 4 is struggling. My biggest concern is safety, public safety. And it says, naked man caught on camera prowling neighborhood.
Yeah.
Did y'all ever catch the naked man? Maybe it was his grenade.
No, it's not the same neighborhood. I don't think it was the same neighborhood.
Okay.
I'm right near the shop, but, maybe he became unclothed and due to a previous grenade incident. Who knows?
Okay. Well, we're going to listen to someone talk about cameras.
So I'm out here in rural North Carolina. This is not too far from my farm, but this has shown up in our neighborhood. It's called a flock camera, and did a little research into it. On the surface, it's about fighting crime. I don't necessarily see a lot of crime in this area, or even a reason for crime. Apparently, that Lowe's entrances, it's a strange thing to me. Looked into it a little more. This, it always starts with like, oh, we're just watching out for crime, and then quickly it's like Europe, where they're looking at your tags and charging you for how many miles you drive. There's no reason for this to be here. And so I looked at who voted to make this happen. And the number one name that came up was Roy Cooper. In 2023, Roy Cooper.
Yeah, it's kind of a political ad.
Yeah.
So is everybody familiar with the flock camera system?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's let's see, there's one more I want to see. This young lady over in Dunwoody, Georgia.
Flock employees have been accessing the cameras of a children's gymnastics studio in Georgia. Ben Jordan reported on this, and he has been reporting on not only the gross misuse of these cameras, but also their huge security vulnerabilities, demonstrating how hackable they are. The city council happened to be voting on an extension and expansion of their contract with Flock just days later. So I went with Ben to Dunwoody, Georgia to attend a public hearing and city council meeting. And at this point in time,
they got plenty of money in Dunwoody, Georgia, by the way.
time of the meeting, Ben's reporting had been seen by over 1 million people. They're aware that the cameras in the children's gymnasium of the Jewish Community Center are being viewed by Flock employees. And so Ben, at the very beginning, we got there early, at least 15 minutes before the meeting, he put in a request to speak during public comment. I put in a request 5 minutes later. My name was called to speak, but Ben's never was. So they intentionally skipped over Ben's name and called my name, and I don't even live in Georgia. And then after public comment was over, we all kind of looked around like, okay, so they're not going to call Ben's name. And then the mayor publicly attacked my comments specifically. Later in the meeting, the city council voted unanimously to extend and expand their contract with Flock. They didn't even say, we're going to take time to pause and investigate how this could have happened and maybe make some modifications to the contract. No. They clearly wanted to silence the voice in the community who exposed how Flock operates and move forward with their contract with Flock anyway. At this point in time, Bob Carter, who is the guy who logged into and accessed the gymnasium camera and no other camera, has scrubbed his entire social media presence, but the Attorney General, who is running for governor of Georgia, posted saying randomly how great Bob is of a guy. So what the hell is going on here?
Well, I can tell you what the hell's going on there, young lady. You're getting flocked, just like everybody else in the country. This is the retirement plan for everybody who's the tech guy at the PD. They're all going to go to work for Flock. They're going to go to work for Clearview AI, facial recognition, all this kind of stuff. So anyway, somebody posted this on the 15th, said, hey, this just popped up next to my farm. Is this some kind of, I'm like, no, man, this is to protect you. Move along, right? And of course, we saw this, and we saw this in Dunwoody. So guess what's going on in San Jose, California? They're being sued because they're, 30 or 40 people in their community said, hey, I think this is pretty creepy. It's one thing if my priest knows who I'm sleeping with besides my husband or my wife, but it's completely different now that my car can be tracked and the police know everywhere I go. They know every time I pass by this location. They know, and Flock is also used by Walgreens and Walmart and all these other places. Amazon had a big push not too long ago where you could go to you could go to Amazon's website and give the police access to your Ring doorbell, which means you're surveilling your neighbor across the street 24/7 for the police.
Your Ring doorbell now will facially recognize familiar faces and let you know that person is at the door.
That's some creepy dystopian. So I guess kind of what I'm getting at is this is here to stay, and everybody should pay attention. Now, Brandon can tell you the state of Alabama just passed a law saying we could use these things in construction zones because, we can't.
That is a pilot program that, we're just, that's a little bit different in that, the company, through ALDOT, through ALEA, will send you a notice that you were going more than 10 miles over the posted limit in a construction zone, and they will send you $100 fine that you need to pay.
Yeah. So anyway, the slippery slope has begun here in Alabama. Make no. Okay. So let's talk about more stuff. Anybody know what HR 8250 is? Requiring mandatory age verification. So remember, we did this last session here in Alabama. If you want to go to Pornhub, the nice men at Pornhub, you got to you got to take a picture of your driver's license and upload it to their website. And I'm going, I don't know who the hell these people are. I guess my days of looking at pornography are over with.
Giving your driver's license to every porn site on the internet. That would be bad.
Yeah.
Something bad would happen from that.
So anyway, that's coming. Just hide and watch.
Now, like the Flock camera system, if they had it in Miss Farley's neighborhood, they might have been able to identify these dogs and this issue before it escalated to her cat getting killed. So there are benefits as well as negatives to the cameras, because I mean, police officer drives by there 4 times a day. I mean, he may or may not run into the pack of dogs running around looking.
Okay, so besides knowing where you are all the time, I mean, the government, now they're going to know every website you go to for mandatory age verification, so we can keep the little children safe.
Your internet provider already knows everything you do.
Oh, sure they do.
I mean,
but somebody's got to get a warrant. Or do they? Oh, no, they don't.
Why do they need a warrant?
Oh, they don't. Because last night, while you son bitches were sleeping, Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Act was extended. Not for 5 years, but for 30 days. Because, my God, if we couldn't spy on Americans, we'd all be in terrible danger, right? Yep. There it is. The FISA Amendment Act of 2008. And it's actually the Foreign Intelligence Act of like 1978. I didn't know we had a FISA back then. And here are the 12 Republicans.
They had Echelon 25 years ago that could intercept all electronic communications, phone, internet, whatever, of foreign countries. And foreign countries had the same on us. So theoretically, NSA could go around and cooperate with some of their foreign intelligence partners.
Like Jeffrey Epstein, yeah. So here are the 12 Republicans who voted no. Do you see anybody from Alabama? I don't.
But I would voted yes on this. I don't see this as controversial at all.
Oh, my God. Oh, come on, man. So 18 million of your taxpayer dollars were used to pay out sexual harassment settlements from a congressional slush fund, and you can't know that. You can't know that about them.
Absolutely.
I would like to see that file.
Yeah, no shit.
Maybe we could have identified Swalwell as a pervert before he raped a girl and almost became governor of California.
Okay, so this is the video that Bill missed that we watched at the beginning, Virtue or Vice, the first look at Paragon's proliferation of spyware operations. So anyway, Paragon is, guess what, Brandon? An Israeli company. And guess what they have developed? A software called Graphite. So the interesting thing about Graphite is you don't have to click on it. It's zero-click technology. Somebody sends you a message, and that message contains the malware, and it actually even erases itself. So unless it's like actively running, it's really hard to identify that it's on your device at all. So
how do you think your computer gets slower as it gets older? It's not all the CPU wearing out. It's all the crap that gets downloaded on there.
But this is your
intentionally
phone,
or unintentionally.
and this and with this right here, you can read what Hedgepath and them were saying. What's it on Telegraph or something?
System.
Mosley, your computer's crapping out. There's better. So
yeah, well, that was Hegseth's fault for not having this common sense.
His internet connection's being copied and saved somewhere.
Yeah, they're using that microwave thing to fry your brain through the wall like you're in Cuba. So, it's WhatsApp and all these other things that are supposedly end-to-end encrypted. Well, they don't matter because they're reading it after you encrypt it on your phone. That's how this works. They can't break the encryption, so they put it on your phone so you'll check it out. So, anyway, that's who Paragon Solutions is, and of course they have a U.S. Conglomerate. And anyway, so look forward to that. It seems like we could use all of this technology to try to figure out what in the hell is going on here. I mean, wouldn't you think that after you left the NSA or working at Area 51, they probably put some old lady that's retired CIA across the street to keep an eye on you, like it's a Harry Potter book or something? I mean, just maybe these guys are that important. So aren't we up to 12? Uh-oh, Brandon's dropped out. So anyway,
I'm still here.
So what do you know about all these scientists going missing? See, I think they're all in the. Oh, I think they're all in the evil layer of Dr. No here, like some secret underground I mean, if you were building a weapon and you needed a bunch of smart scientists, this looks like the lot, doesn't it?
They're all
I'd
retiring
rather
around
have
Huntsville.
engineers than scientists for that.
All right. It just seems like something that a lot more people than, like Alex Jones would be worried about.
You should look at how big the retirement communities are getting in Huntsville. How the former military folks that are.
I mean, if Epstein was going to have another Zorro Ranch, it would definitely be in Huntsville. No doubt. So people should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people. This was a sign being held last night at the Fairhope Municipal Court, where Renee Gamble was being tried for dressing up in a penis costume during the No Kings rally, and it took them 8 months of running this woman through the mud for her to be acquitted. And of course, does everybody know that the eggplant is a emojicon or whatever you call it?
That's an emoji.
Synonym for penis. And of course, there was an eggplant. No kings, no dictators. I love it. Yeah, so there she is. She walked out last night and she was found not guilty.
I wanted to see the courtroom during the display of the costume to confirm that is what it was, and who gave the Webster's Dictionary affirmation that that's what that was.
Well, when they arrested her, they said they're trying to protect the community. They're trying to protect the community. They're trying to, right, in Fairhope of all places. Oh, left that one in there. So, I thought this was a little charged of a statement by the presumptive future governor. If elected, the senator says he will no longer let the animals run the zoo in cities with high violent crime rates like Montgomery.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, there was legislation this past session that passed the Senate that if, Montgomery or one of these other outlaw cities didn't, I guess apply to Mobile too, fully fund their police. And, they had money allocated for police, but couldn't find the officers or hire the officers or whatever was happening. It would allow the ALEA to seize that money from that city or to fund ALEA's crime fighting efforts in that town. Now, that was the last bill on the calendar in the House when Ledbetter decided to declare sine die. If he hadn't declared sine die then, that would have been the next thing they debated. And that would have been final passage, as it had already passed the Senate. 1819 did an article attacking Ledbetter because he sine died when he did.
So
did it give him another 3 hours?
So AG candidate.
I was kind of tired at that point myself, but
so one of our attorney general candidates came out and said Montgomery police staffing bill is an immediate priority. That sounds like what I'd expect Catherine Green Robertson to say. Does she live in Montgomery? Do we know?
She actually lives in Vestavia Hills.
And she drives all the way down there every day? Or she telecommutes? Telecommutes.
Well, you can do a lot telecommuting. I can telecommute a lot. I'm not at the office right now. I'm actually in Leeds.
Here is a sample ballot. And, you can go take a look. I've got one on my Facebook page and Twitter. If anybody's interested in seeing what that ballot's going to look like on May 19th, I thought I would talk a little bit about another podcast and encourage you guys to go check this one out. And these are just some of the people that we've interviewed and want to make you aware of their existence. And a couple of judicial candidates that are friends of mine. So Brandon, have you ever seen Asia Forever, Bondage Babes, Jenna's Star Power, or Confessions of a Vampire?
None of those strike any bells whatsoever.
So these are all
I watched
films.
a lot of World War II documentaries.
Yeah, well, this is, if you know who Jenna Jameson is, you probably remember Asia Carrera.
I remember she made an appearance repeatedly on the Bill O'Reilly show. So that's how I know
Her
her.
stunning curves can be seen in more than 250 hardcore movies. Her looks combined with delicate Asian features with voluptuous whatever.
And
Her
what
fans
does
not
that
only
have to do with anything?
well, her fans not only admire her for her mouth-watering body, but also her brains. A self-taught web designer, she's also a member of Mensa. Okay, and it turns
More power
out
to her.
so anyway, it turns out she just passed the Texas State Bar, giving a new meaning to the term gag order. All right, well, that's it for the show today.
That was over my head there, Harry.
Bill, we certainly appreciate you taking time to be with us. And
yes, sir. Sorry I was late. but I
Rachel,
guess
you have a fascinating story. Do you feel like they have enough animal control officers up there? Like, what is there anything we can do besides beating up on Craig Ford to help you solve your problem?
I really think we need more animal control, and they need to be available on weekends, because unless you're being actively mauled to death, you get nothing on the weekends with animal control. So we could definitely use some of that, and maybe knocking some doors in instead of just knocking on the door and waiting for a criminal to open it for you.
There you go. So,
Maybe.
so Bill, can I get a commitment that if you find any more explosives, you'll call me first? We'll take it up to my camp, play around with it for a little while, and then we'll throw it in the river. How about that?
I'm sorry. I think you're broke up. I'm not sure what said. Yes.
There you go. Well, everybody, thanks for your time, and y'all have a good weekend.
Y'all too.
You as well. Thank you.
Have a good week.